On the Delhi Road, written by Ruskin Bond. Road travel can involve delays and mishaps, but it also provides you with the freedom to stop where you like and do as you like. I have never found it boring. The 7-hour drive from Mussoorie to Delhi can become a little tiring towards the end, but as I do not drive myself, I can sit back and enjoy everything that the journey has to offer. I have been to Delhi 5 times in the last 6 months, something of a record for me, and on every occasion I have travelled by road. I like looking at the countryside, the passing scene, the people along the road, and this is something I don't see anymore from trains. Those thick windows of frosted glass effectively cut me off from the world outside. On my last trip, we had to leave the main highway because of a disturbance near Meerut. Instead, we had to drive through about a dozen villages in the prosperous sugarcane belt that dominates this area. It was a wonderful contrast, leaving the main road with its cafes, petrol pumps, factories, and management institutes, and entering the rural hinterland where very little had changed in 100 years. Women worked in the fields, old men smoked hookahs in their courtyards, and a few children were playing gilli danda instead of cricket. It brought home to me the reality of India. Urban life and rural life are still poles apart. These journeys are seldom without incident. I was sipping a coffee at a wayside restaurant when a foreign woman walked in and asked the waiter if they had a la carte. Roadside stops seldom provide menus, nor do they go in for French. But our waiter wanted to be helpful, so he led the tourist outside and showed her the way to the public toilet. As she did not return to the restaurant, I have no idea if he eventually found a la carte. My driver on a recent trip assured me that he knew Delhi very well and could get me to any destination. I told him I had been booked into a big hotel near the airport and gave him the name. Not to worry, he told me and drove confidently towards Palam. There he got confused and, after taking several unfamiliar turnings, drove straight into a large piggery situated behind the airport. We were surrounded by some 50 or 60 pigs and an equal number of children from the mohalla. One boy even asked me if I wanted to purchase a pig. After some arguments over right of way, we were allowed to proceed and finally made it to the hotel. Occasionally, I have shared a taxi with another passenger, but after one or two disconcerting experiences, I have taken to traveling alone or with a friend. The last time I shared a taxi with someone, I was pleased to find that my fellow passenger, a large gentleman with a fierce moustache, had bought one of my books, which was lying on the seat between us. I thought I would be friendly, and so, to break the ice, I remarked, I see you have one of my books with you, glancing modestly at the paperback on the seat. What do you mean, your book? He bridled, giving me a dirty look. I just bought this book at the news agency. No, no, I stammered. I don't mean it is mine. I mean it is my book. That is, I happened to write it. Oh, so now you are claiming to be the author. He looked at me as though I was fraud of the worst kind. What is your real profession, may I ask? I am just a typist, I said, and made no further attempt to make friends. Indeed, I am very careful about trumpeting my literary or other achievements, as I am frequently misunderstood. Recently, at a book reading in New Delhi, a little girl asked me how many books I had written. Oh, about 60 or 70, I said quite truthfully. At which another child piped up, why can't you be a little modest about it? Sometimes you just can't win. My author's ego received a salutary beating when, on one of my earlier trips, I stopped at a small bookstall and looked around, hoping to spot one of my books. Finally, I found one under a pile of books by Deepak Chopra, Kushwant Singh, William Dalrymple, and other luminaries. I slipped it out from the bottom of the pile and surreptitiously placed it on top. Unfortunately, the bookseller had seen me do this. He picked up the offending volume and returned it to the bottom of the pile, saying, no demand for this book, sir. I wasn't going to tell him I was the author, but just to prove him wrong, I bought the poor neglected thing. This is a collector's item, I told him. Ah, he said, at last I meet a collector. Thank you very much. The journeys are seldom without incident. I was sipping a coffee at a wayside restaurant when a foreign woman walked in and asked the waiter if they had a la carte. A la carte, a French word, means you choose each dish from a separate list instead of eating a fixed combination of dishes at a fixed price. Occasionally, I have shared a taxi with another passenger, but after one or two disconcerting experiences, I have taken to traveling alone or with a friend. Disconcerting means making someone feel uncertain and uncomfortable or worried. Recently, at a book reading in New Delhi, a little girl asked me how many books I had written. Oh, about 60 or 70, I said quite truthfully. At which another child piped up, why can't you be a little modest about it? Pipe up means to suddenly start to speak or make a noise.